Well, first of all, I'm just so impressed with these kids. It's amazing. Good job, you guys. Yeah, I think that was wonderful. I mean, I think it's such a great structure that we had, the presentation that we did at the Student Health Council right before this scene, because I think Marissa did everything right. You know, she was saying, I can't fix the problem, but I can be here to listen, and we can do this together. I think it's a pretty common thing that people who are very depressed, in addition to feeling helpless and hopeless, may also feel like they're a burden to others. So this idea of a real welcoming stance, body language, all that kind of stuff, and then letting the person know that we're in this together, it's okay, you're not bothering me, we can handle this. Yeah, it was a great job. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce the next scene is Kai, Harrison and Selena. No, it's not, sorry. Yeah, Kai, Harrison and Selena. And they're going to introduce their own scene. Thank you very much.
My name is Selena, and I'm going to be playing a troubled student. And this is Harrison, he's my father. And this is Kai, and he's my concerned teacher. So our scene takes place at a public school in Seattle. And I'm just having a hard time making friends, and I came from a very conservative background, so that makes it a little bit harder for me. And on top of that, I have a lot of parent pressure from my father, and I just feel alone. Come in.
Hey, I got your grades in the mail. Looks like you have a B in math class. What's up with that?
It's the hardest class that I have.
But a B, really? You're just not trying. A B isn't good enough to get you into college. A B isn't good enough to get into a good, successful life. You understand that, right?
But my teacher, she said that I was the
But you
best
need to try harder. This isn't acceptable. I need you to fix it.
Hey, you almost finished retaking that test?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Alright, sure, let me know.
Thanks for your time.
Sure. Hey, you got the best grade in the class. It's like it was a really hard test. Why are you retaking it?
My parents, they just said it wasn't good enough, so I just came in to retake it.
Did they always pressure you like this?
And sometimes they do.
I mean, you haven't been yourself recently in class. You want to talk about it?
Sure.
I get this can be a little awkward for some teacher. You know, most students don't come to teachers, but you know, the faculty is always worried about their students. They care. So this pressure from your parents, how does it make you feel?
I guess it just makes me feel like I'm never good enough, but it doesn't matter how hard I try. They just keep wanting me to do better.
Do you have anyone at school you can talk to about this?
Not really. I have a hard time making friends. It's lonely.
Well, I'm always here, and there's a very large community of people who do care about you, no matter what. And sometimes when people feel this pressure, it can be overwhelming, and well, sometimes they feel like doing irrational things to themselves. They have these thoughts.
Sometimes, but I don't think I'd ever do it seriously.
Well, I want you to know, Melissa, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people who do care. This has a lot of numbers on it. You can contact at any time. I have my cell number too, and if you ever need a minute to step out of class, just let me know. All right? Here you go.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Again, great job, great scene by these students. I think the things that I noticed about Kai and his concerned teacher teacher persona, were that he really normalized and sort of acknowledged that it might be a little awkward to talk to a teacher, it might be a little difficult to bring up a challenge that you have with your parents, but that he was there anyway and able to talk and listen. Yeah, again, I think it can be really challenging to talk about this kind of thing. It can be challenging to ask if somebody is thinking of suicide. It's not a topic that we often talk about, so it will be challenging. And the best thing that you can do is ask and to be open about it and to show that it's not too much and that you're able to talk about it. So, again, great job.
Thank you, Amy. Well, the next scene is Ryan and James. They're going to show us a scene of a student feeling under pressure by parents, and a teacher is going to intervene.
So I'm James, and I'm going to be playing the character of Lenny, who's a bright kid who gets good grades in school, but not good enough for his parents. And he's pressured into being on the soccer team. And so Ryan is playing my soccer coach, and he's going to have a talk with me about how I've been a little bit down lately.
Lenny, so do you have a ride home?
Yes, my parents are going to pick me up.
Well, now that you're here, I've been wanting to talk to you. At practice, you seemed a little out of it. Is everything all right?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Lenny, have you been enjoying playing soccer?
Yes, my parents really like seeing me play.
But what about you? Do you enjoy it?
Well, I suppose I'd rather be in the theater, actually.
Lenny, would you like to have a seat? It sounds like you're not really happy with what you're doing right now, or just how things are at the moment. Would you say maybe you've been feeling a little depressed lately?
Yeah, I think I do kind of feel that way. It's like I'm just never happy.
Well, with some people, when they feel depressed, they contemplate suicide or just hurting themselves even. And have you had any of these thoughts?
Yeah. Yes. I think I have, really mentioned.
Thank you for sharing. I just want you to know that I and our school and your friends and your family really care about you and your safety. And if you ever have any of these thoughts, I'd be happy to talk to you. You can come by my classroom and talk to me, call me any hour of the day. And if somehow you feel like you can't talk to me, or you just don't think I'm the person to talk to, I have a list of trained professionals, including the Teen Health Center at our school. And I really think if you have any of these thoughts, you should really consider calling these, just so you can talk to someone about how you feel.
Thank you.
No problem.
So, great job. I think it's interesting in this scene that Lenny so far was maybe our most sort of resistant teen, and yet he still was like, yeah, I have been thinking about this, let's talk. So something to remember is that teens may not be quite as forthcoming as what we're seeing in this role play. So I think, again, this message of like, I'm here for you, I'm ready to listen if you need something, and the ability to give out a resource right there in the moment can be really helpful. It can be something that the teen can take with them and that they can think about. In Roosevelt, obviously, there's the Teen Health Center, there's the Teen Link packets that you've seen the students use in the role play here, so those are great resources the phone numbers that we have. There's crisis clinic cards. So if a teen isn't particularly ready right then in the moment, they can leave with something that's, you know, physical in their hand, and just continue to keep an eye on them and continue to acknowledge that you're there for them and you're ready to listen when they're ready to talk.
Thank you. And the last scene we're going to now is by Ashley and Riley, and they're going to present their scene. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That was an introduction. But we're playing two friends. Well, we are friends, and we didn't change our names like everyone else. But basically, the scene is that I'm having a really hard time, having kind of a breakdown in at school, and Riley sort of finds me and offers a helping hand. I can't break down like this. God, what would people think if they saw me? I'm pathetic. It's just, I can't, I have to pull myself out of this.
Hey, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Riley. I'm fine. It's no big deal.
Are you sure? You seem kind of down.
Yeah, I have a lot of work to finish. I need some alone time. I'm fine.
Are you sure? I need to talk to you. Like, I can listen if you need to.
No, I don't need any help. I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, I've been kind of noticing this thing lately. I've been noticing that you've been like a little down. It kind of worries me. I totally understand that you don't want to talk to me, but it's really important to me that you do talk to someone. So, do you have some? If you have some numbers, if you want to contact a professional, please consider it. It's really important to me.
Thanks, Riley.
I'll leave you alone.
Thank you.
So now we're going to demonstrate to you what actually happens when you phone a helpline. So Ashley's going to be someone who's going to phone a helpline, and Amy's going to be the person on the other end of the phone.
Crisis support, how can I help you?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My friend gave me a pamphlet with some numbers, and I just thought I should call because I really haven't been doing so well lately.
Yeah, I'm glad you called, and I'm glad that your friend gave you that information. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on? What's been difficult for you?
I don't know. I'm not enjoying anything, and I haven't been wanting to participate, and it's all been getting out of control. I've been feeling really isolated, and I'm so overwhelmed with just things that shouldn't be that overwhelming, like just getting through school, and I just don't want to deal with anything.
Yeah, I can hear that things sound to be overwhelming for sure, and that you have a lot going on, and it's impacting you and making you feel like you want to isolate and move away from others. I wanted to ask you a question. When people feel this way, when they feel like they want to isolate and maybe feel depressed, they often have thoughts of suicide, and I'm wondering if you've considered suicide.
I don't think I would do it, but I guess I have thought about it once or twice.
Okay. So I hear you that you've considered it, you've thought about it, and you don't think that you would do it. I'm wondering if you've ever considered a plan, if you have an idea of how you might end your life by suicide if you were to do it.
No, I never like made a plan. Like I never decided exactly how I would do it.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering my questions and for talking with me about it. It's important to me that I keep you safe and that I know a little bit about what's going on with you before we talk a little bit further. Yeah, I think that a person on the other end of a crisis line like that would, first, as you saw, assess for safety and determine whether the person's in immediate danger. And then the idea would be to provide support in the moment as best as they can. So whether that's coping skills and trying to figure out what the person can do to potentially calm down or to get to a less emotional place. Might be connecting them with further resources or helping them think of people in their own community, in their own life that they're able to call when a person is at the place of being so emotional that they're maybe calling a crisis line. It's kind of goes without saying that they may not be thinking very clearly or very kind of rationally about what their options are and who they might be able to reach out to. So a crisis support worker would be that calm ear and a person to talk to that could help them through some more kind of logical steps of what to do next.
Okay, that's the end of this section. I'd like to say a big thank you to Amy Shipley. And I'd like to say a really big thank you to the students. Could you all stand up and take a bow? Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce now Elaine Walsh. Elaine Walsh is an associate professor at the University of Washington School of Nursing and a member of the Forefront organisation. She is a psychiatric mental health clinical nurse specialist and has experience working on clinical and research projects related to youth suicide prevention. She's going to tell us about the work of Forefront. Elaine Walsh, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. What an impressive show. Thank you all so much. I have the great pleasure of being a faculty member in the UW School of Nursing and was approached by a faculty member in the School of Social Work, Dr. Jennifer Stuber, a couple years ago. Her husband, Matt, took his own life. He died by suicide. She wanted to figure out how we can help prevent suicides. And one of the big pieces of that is looking at how to help professionals to know what to do. Not all professionals knew what to do sometimes. So there's been a lot of legislation and a lot of training and things like that that are important. The other piece of our program with Forefront is working with schools and really being able to think about how schools, how parents, how kids, how teachers, how administrators can be there for each other, can recognize risk for suicide, and be available to connect people with help. So what Forefront has been doing with 13 schools, and Roosevelt is one of them, is 2 years worth of work, looking at policies, and you've heard about that already, doing some training as well. As we move into our third year, Roosevelt and our other 12 schools are going to help be mentors to new schools that are coming on board and working on how to make sure that the training that you were presented with, which is lovely, really nice adaptation of our Learn curriculum, that training gets disseminated through schools as well. Our goal is to have schools be really ready to respond in a crisis, to know what to do, to know how to manage difficult situations, and if there is an unfortunate situation of a death by suicide, to know how to help and support students and families in the community. What that also means is being aware and being able to prevent suicide as much as possible. And so what we've seen today is a remarkable and wonderful example of young people who are willing to listen, to learn, and to teach others. What we know about suicide prevention and what I know about as a professional is often young people will go to each other before they'll go to their parents. They might go to others before they would go to a professional. And so we rely on the community and school to be the eyes and ears, to listen, to notice, and to intervene and be helpful to others. So I don't want to go on and on because I think I'm standing between you and food, if I've got that right. But just want to thank Roosevelt High School, all of the faculty, the students, for this really impressive evening. It makes me really feel like our youth are taking good control of the situation and that our future's in really good hands. So thank you all very much, and thank you to Roosevelt.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm not sure what more I can add in closing to what the wonderful things have already been said. But let me just briefly, Pat talked about how she came to Roosevelt and was doing workshops and classes. And I was very excited to have her come do the workshops in my classes. And so I just want to share with you something that I told my students at the end of our week-long workshop with Pat. I stood in front of the room and I said to them that I'm pretty sure that I probably messed this up at some point. I've seen the learned curriculum. I know who to go to. I know I have a good sense of direction in this. But at the same time, in a crisis situation, it's always possible that you may feel like, I don't know what to do that's the right thing to do. I don't know how to do this perfectly. And I told them that that was part of my discomfort that I had to overcome. Because that sense of, oh, I may not know how to, and it can lead to the desire to just, maybe this will go away. Maybe I won't do anything. And I'm a collector of quotes, and one of the quotes that I really love, I don't know where it came from, it said, you can't be neutral on a moving train. And silence in this situation is not neutral. Silence still sends a message to the people around us. And silence in this situation would send a message that suffering is shameful, and that if you're struggling, that struggle should be invisible. And that message is isolating. And so I think the most powerful thing you've seen tonight is the agency that these young people have. These two wonderful young people from our Teen Health Council that gave you the presentation are wonderful young actors. And that's what I think has been so fruitful about our work with Pat in these last couple weeks, is it helped to further our mission to give these students agency, to give them the courage to know that even if I can't do this perfectly, I have to do something. And I have to trust myself. And so, I want to thank you all for coming, because what you've done today is not just be here to hear about what we do to spread awareness. You've given these students a chance to be courageous. And so several other people that I'd like to thank. First off, I'd like to thank Ingram High School, the principal, especially the custodial staff. Allie up there in the booth, thank you, Allie. For giving us a Friday night to be here and help us put this on. I'd like to thank the Roosevelt Student Health Council, Nadia. I'd like to thank Forefront and Elaine Walsh. I'd like to thank the Teen Health Center at Roosevelt and Nancy. Thank you, Nancy, for all the work. Of course, we would love to thank Ms. Pat Byrne and Soul Purpose Productions for being and for making that possible. We'd like to thank the Arts Council of Northern Ireland. Imagine that, a government with an arts budget. Would like to thank John Harkin in absentia, even though he's not here, he's with us in spirit. He's the Hands for a Bridge lead teacher at Oak Grove, and he's helped connect us with Pat, and he's helped touch the lives of so many of the students that are in this room. I'd like to thank Hands for a Bridge Seattle, all the teachers, Mr. Nolet, Miss Kenny Hall, Miss Grace, Miss McDonald, Miss Plesha, Miss Mogadman.
Mr. Mogadman.
Yeah, I thank myself. I'd like to thank the Hands for Bridge parents who are here. Goodness knows that they have given so much to the program and have sacrificed so much of their lives and time and energy to help provide these wonderful things for our students. I'd like to thank the board. We have some board members from Hands for Bridge here. And most importantly, I would like to thank the students here who have, first off, given up what is one of the most valuable resources to a student, a Friday night. But they have also been incredibly courageous and done that which is uncomfortable and overcome any doubts that what if I don't do it perfectly. And so thank you guys so much for your courage. So if there is nothing else, I think that's it. Thank you everyone for